WMNF Tampa. This is Live Music Showcase here on 88.5. I'm your host, Ken Apperson. We are live here on 88.5 every week, 2 p.m., 2:06 to be exact. Mark Perfetti in there on the mixing console, making everything sound absolutely gorgeous. And today, we have a very special episode because I am joined today by co-host, rapper, lyricist, label owner, collective owner, event coordinator, and lover of all things local music, Mike Mass. How you doing, man?
How are you doing? How is everybody out there doing, all the listeners? It's great to be here. I'm very excited, and I'm honored to be on the show with you, Ken Apperson, who is also a virtuoso in the music world, somebody who plays instruments like it's nothing, like it's just easy. He does it like it's no big deal.
If we go into how much we love each other, that'll be the whole show. And the wonderful band that we have on today won't get any time. Speaking of which, Fantastical Tigers is in studio with us today. How you guys doing?
Very good. How are you?
Awesome. Oh, I got a little bit out of her there. What was it?
There it
There it is. Awesome. You can listen to this show live, obviously, on your FM's channel right now. If you're listening right now in your car, at home, wherever you're doing, thanks a lot for doing that. You can also listen to this show and every other show on this station at WMNF.org. You can go there right there, and then there's a listen live option. You can listen to every episode of this show in the archive from the website, WMNF.org. And this show and every other show is distributed in podcast form. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Live Music Showcase. So today's episode is very special for a couple of reasons. One, because you guys are a lo-fi alt band. I'm trying to nail down the genre. Frankly.
Good luck.
Yeah, there it is. And we talk about stuff like that on the show all the time, about like having an identity in genre and things like that. And so I'm really excited to have the listeners get a taste for your music. We're also putting a spotlight on African American people and the talented folks that are part of this station and part of this community. Mike Mass obviously is one of those with Wave Theory Radio on. Tell the people when you're on. Your Monday nights, Tuesday mornings.
Monday nights / Tuesday mornings,
Yeah.
12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Wave Theory Radio. Our co-host is Jay King, and we usually have a rotation of different DJs who are guests. We just had Zeta the Babe on the show.
Nice.
We have Lele Beats, do a live, do a mix, a pre-recorded mix on the show.
Nice.
And we're gonna start to do more of that. And Jordan actually helped us out a lot in the setup and coordination of the radio show. So thank you, Jordan, from
Silent
Fantastical
partner, if you
Tigers.
will.
Silent partner. We don't do silent partners in radio, man.
Yeah, well.
Then they're just not involved. What's happening? That's a bad joke. Don't laugh at that. No. So there's plenty to talk about today. You guys are doing lots of stuff in the local scene here. You're releasing a new album. You're going on tour. You're doing all of the things. You're kind of checking all of the boxes that the local band aspires to check.
For sure.
And obviously, it's one of the reasons why you're on this show today. I want to dive into some of that stuff, but first, I definitely want to hear your first song.
Awesome. This first song is called Spiders.
We are back, live music showcase. That was Fantastical Tigers with the fantastic song. Remind me again, what was the name of that record?
That record is called Sad Biz.
Sad Biz. And is that record out and already available?
It is available on all streaming platforms. Live.
Nice.
Yes, it is available on all streaming platforms. You can find us at Fantastical Tigers.
Awesome.
Yes.
And, it looks like you guys are definitely coming out with an album soon. And, tell us a little bit about what went into making this album and what specifies this album as a complete work, separate from the other songs you've written, that you've compiled these specific songs together to say, hey, this is a project.
Sure. So, as you may or may not know, we do produce everything ourselves in our own home studio. I've been doing audio engineering for, better part of 15 years. And, we take a lot of pride in doing that and having that be a part of one small part of our identity. To say what separates this one from the other work that we've done, I don't know if there's anything defining that I think separates it. That I could put my finger on. I do think you will see some growth in our songwriting capabilities. All of our songwriting is collaborative, so it's not like the first collaborative effort. It's all of it that we do, that we produce ourselves. So it's not the first time that we're doing that.
Right.
We're just trying to build upon that sort of identity and that sound that we started with.
Right.
Yeah, the tracks that you come in with today, like they're not just something that you pulled from some audio vault somewhere. Like you produced all of
correct.
this music.
Yeah. So we write, record, and produce everything ourselves.
Right. 100% DIY.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you run into trouble with that ever? Like going into another studio, things like that? Do you ever butt heads with engineers, things like that?
No, I try to make the engineer's life as easy as possible. If we're ever going to another studio or live session, that's a big part of sort of my efforts would be to just make it easy on them, right?
Sure.
And the thing about the audio engineering community is that we are all able to learn from each other. Far be it from me to say that I know everything that there is to know about audio engineering. I always have something to learn from somebody else who practices that sort of craft and everything like that. So
love that. That's great. That's great.
I always learn, traveling the country. Like we traveled with Fantastical Tigers to Los Angeles. We traveled to South Bend, Indiana, and different venues, different sounds, different cities. You end up coming back home with so much more information, not only on, what people may or may not have, but like how to deal with any situation that comes your way just because it's on the fly. You know what I mean? So I saw them and they were very impressive on the road, Fantastical Tigers. They're ready for the road for sure, 100%.
So the road, and that is always a subject that never fails to entertain.
Yeah.
There's always interesting stories from the road.
Oh, man.
I want to talk about the road a little bit, but I want to hear the next song.
Sure.
Before we dive into that.
Nice.
Yep.
This one's called One Track Mind.
You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5. We're live in studio with Fantastical Tigers and co-host today, Mike Mass.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I gotta say that's a cool little. There's a flow to it. There's a vibe to it. There's almost like a meditative quality to it, I would say. And but the lyrics, on the other hand, are definitely born of some kind of conflict. I can hear that. And I definitely, I want to talk a little bit about that, but first I want to hear, sometimes it's a sore subject, sometimes it's a little bit touchy, but the road, especially for a couple who are musicians and are also married, right? You guys are married. How long have you been married, first of all?
5 years? 6 years.
I love the question.
Yeah, it goes together.
There it is. Yeah, somewhere around there. Somewhere in the ballpark of something made of wood. Yeah.
Together for 9 years. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fine. That's good. Okay, so married couple on the road. Anyone who's ever been on tour, Mike probably can attest to this. You already know where I'm going with this, I think. Yeah. It gets rough being in such a confined space for so long, sometimes with anyone, people that are your best friends. Sometimes being on tour breaks up bands, sometimes road trips break up marriages, things like that. So I'm very curious to know, first of all, how many times have you guys been on the road? I know you guys have gone with Wave Theory. Have you ever done any kind of traveling to play before that?
Before Wave Theory, no, but we did a few stints afterwards.
Okay.
Essentially, when you think about the way that we tour, it's not the typical way where you think of like a bunch of people in a van or a bunch of people in a bus, right?
Sure.
So our setup is super simple and lightweight.
Yeah.
We got a computer and a guitar. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So we can fit everything that we need in a backpack and a guitar case, which means we can fly anywhere with luggage and everything like that. So typically when we're going out on tour, we're flying places. So that makes travel, all over the country a lot more accessible, a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
And it takes away the having to be, right next to somebody in a car for several hours on end, day after day. It takes that element out of it and makes it feel more relaxed and more like, I hate to use the word, but like vacation, right? Like we're flying somewhere, we're playing music, we're having fun, we're enjoying the city for what it is. Like it's cool.
So essentially what you're saying is that you've kind of used technology. I'm assuming like the use of your tech your use of it came from like how you wanted to write music, how you wanted to craft music, and your background with audio engineering, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
So from that, you ended up putting together a rig that is ultralight and essentially travel sized. And because of that, you can go anywhere you want to go without the limitations of bringing, a ton of gear with you, for example.
That's correct.
Okay. So with all of that in mind, when you travel then, we'll say that, when you tour, when you travel then, where are the points that you've learned from where you're like, okay, that happened, I'm not going to do that again, or that happened, I'm going to avoid that place, or things like, I see you looking over at Lindsay there.
You make sure that baggage is included.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Baggage included.
Baggage included. So what do you
Scary.
mean?
Jordan bought some tickets. I won't say I bought them.
Okay.
Jordan bought the tickets.
Okay.
She buys the tickets from now on because of this.
Okay, yes.
Well, I
Okay.
also do it as a job in my daytime.
Okay.
Because I do administrative work. So
Okay.
I'm used to booking flights and things of that nature. So, you have to read the fine print on some of these third-party websites because they do seem like a great deal.
Yeah.
But then, you have to add on baggage. You have to add on, I want to sit up here or not in the middle.
Sure.
And all of that stuff actually ends up being pretty much the same price as one of the other tickets.
And here's me going, hey, baby, I got tickets for $50. She's like, oh, God.
And then we had to
what have
spend
you done?
$70 to
They're $50, but they have to wrap a rope around the plane. And
Exactly. No, they're just
gonna tie
strapping us to the
outside.
engine. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're officially the men on the wing, the man and woman on the wing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Mike, you've traveled with these two.
Yes.
Are they divas on the road? Are they hard to manage, or are they easy?
No, not at all. Because they're a couple, it makes it fun to go on the road with them.
Okay.
Because they spend time with us as a group and, level with us as indie artists. Because we all share that we are all a family in that way, and everywhere we go, we're just looking for more family in that way, and we find them every time, you know. And then because they're a couple, they're like, all right, we're gonna go explore, we're gonna go do cute stuff, and we'll see you guys. You know what I mean?
Cute stuff.
Take advantage of
And-
a few photo ops.
What's the most disgustingly cute thing you've seen them do while traveling with them?
Oh, you know, the entire South Bend, Indiana trip was disgustingly cute, to be honest with you. It was just all, like, me and Lele and them, like, it was just like a big art show with just, like, so many vendors. And we're like, ooh, there's breakfast. Ooh, there's coffee. Ooh, there's... So it really does. Like, he said the word vacation. And, like, I hope nobody from Wave Theory hears me say this right now. But
Yeah, they're all
That's
listening.
why I was a little worried to call it
it
that.
does have...
Okay, let it go.
It does have, or we tried to create or reinforce the idea that we're doing this because it's fun,
Exactly.
Yeah.
you know, and it and it ends up being fun. We end up being really tired. Our feet hurt at the end of it all, and really badly usually. But you know, it's all worth it because this is why we're doing it, so that we can play music for people who've never heard it, and not in front of people who are just gonna give us yes men responses. But when you go on the road and you impress a stranger, it's a different level of reinforcement. Like, okay, I can do this, you know, professionally.
Sure, it's validation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, you sit in your hometown, you play for the same room of people enough, you might start to think you're something special. And then you get out of town and the people are like, what is this? What's with all the purple? What are we doing? Speaking of which, just to be clear, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can see everything we're doing right now. We're live streaming from our Facebook page, WMNF's Live Music Showcase. If you're not following it already, go follow it right now. Stop what you're doing, unless you're driving. Maybe wait till you park or whatever. But other than that, stop what you're doing.
If you're at a stoplight. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Unless
kidding.
you have a
Joke.
self-driving
Allegedly.
Tesla.
Allegedly. No, but
Oh yeah, self-driving cars now too.
that's a whole other. That's for the WMNF news team to cover all of the things going on with that. Well, by the way, their team is doing some really great work right
Excellent.
now. I hope you guys are listening to this station in the morning because it's fantastic. Last thing I'll say, and then I do want to dive into another song. Two things actually. One, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we have the station's pledge drive. Now, to the average listener, that usually means click off. We'll wait till the week's over. But here's the thing. If you love this station, if you love what this station stands for and its impact on the community, and you want to see that grow, there's only one way that you can really have an effect on that, and that is to donate. And donate what you can when you can. Become a Circle of Friends member. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I'm biased, but I joined it, and it's awesome. There's even a good chance that in the near future, if you become a Circle of Friends member, you'll get to come and see this show live. You'll get to come and actually be part of, well, behind the scenes. We're not going to let you operate a camera, right, Marcy? But where you can definitely come into the studio and see what's happening a little bit, the magic behind the curtains, so to speak. So get those wallets and those bank accounts and those checks and that cash ready for February. I think it's February 18th is our episode where we have our pledge drive. Mark and I are going to be maintaining that. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. Thank you, Mark. So, yeah, get ready for that. But you don't have to do it right now unless you really want to. You're more than welcome to donate right now if you want to. We would love it. We would truly love it. And make sure in the when you're filling out the form to donate, you put the show to direct it to, put it towards Live Music Showcase, or you could maybe put it towards Wave Theory Radio.
Yes.
One of the two. Either way.
Either way.
Either way. All right. So I'd love to hear another song from you guys if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
If it's not too much trouble.
I'm so tired.
live music showcase, WMNF Tampa. That was Fantastical. Tigers once again with another great record. What was the name of that song?
It was called Hollow.
Hollow, amazing. I like the little echo vocals that happened in the song. That was a really cool standout moment of the record, I thought. What'd you think, Ken?
I love it. I love it. So, and that's the thing about, running tracks and stuff like that. Sometimes like people look down and they frown or whatever. The reality is like, this is a situation where you guys made all of this music. You produced it yourself. You put all your blood, sweat, and tears into crafting it. And frankly, that's a step that a lot of musicians don't even get to, and I'm guilty of that as a songwriter. Like I should have been putting out music this entire past 10 years.
Right.
But, insecurity and fear and all that stuff, being perfectly honest, like
Right.
at the end of the day, if you let it take the wheel, you end up with nothing out there. So you guys have done that. Mike, as far as like lyrics go, and as a hip hop artist as well, what do you think about the way that they craft their lyrics?
I mean, it was perfect match for us to have Fantastical kind of roll with us in the process of introducing them to the world is essentially what we do. It's
In
just
the Wave Theory Collective.
Right. So
Yeah.
in the Wave Theory Collective, what we do is we take people who we feel are standouts, and all we do is give them the chance to showcase their music to the people who trust my opinion on who's good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So anytime that they're showcasing, because of the way he makes his music, it's extremely similar to the way hip hop artists produce. You know what I mean?
Okay. How so?
Because the first thing you do is you build the beats underneath the music before any of the music starts. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? In other genres, a lot of times you'll try to put together a chord progression or maybe a melody or something like that. But for these type of records, it's more of a layer-based building. And then the lyrics become something you can work on over a long period of time because you already have the exported underlying track. You know what I mean? Versus trying to come up with lyrics that go with the song. You're basically letting yourself reflect on how the song makes you feel and essentially writing like a diary or journal entry to the track itself, right? Would that be accurate?
Yeah, so most of the stuff I write, I actually write as poetry before, and then I just put it to music.
Interesting. Okay. So
That's awesome.
Is that how you started your process when you first started writing, like making music? Yeah. And then let me ask you this too. You're married, obviously. Were you guys a band first or were you married first?
Oh, we were married first.
You were married first.
Married for a long time beforehand. We've only been a band for like a year or so.
Gotcha.
Tell the people, because people might not know this, a little bit about the history of you being in Sun Signs and that as well.
Yeah. Sun Signs was a Tampa project that I'm a part of currently, and gave me a lot of exposure to influential people on the scene, which sort of facilitated the rather quick growth that we've seen. Right. I was able to capitalize on a lot of the people that I met who were supportive of Sun Signs and continued to support me as I branched out and created this project with Lindsay.
Yeah.
And it can be a daunting thing to start a project like this with a significant other.
Honestly, it's kind of like something that we had talked about doing for a very, very long time. And for one reason or another, how busy everyone is, like we didn't really find the time for it, right?
Sure.
And when the lockdown happened, it really made it difficult for Sun Signs to get together or to really do anything. Obviously, shows got shut down. We were very cautious and kind of social distance, isolated as much as possible. But that put us together in the house for however long, and we were like, all right, there's no better time than now to do this because we're locked in the house. Like, let's order some studio gear. Let's build it up. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was really like the catalyst that let you guys kind of move forward with this project.
Yeah.
Not to say that you wouldn't have already,
Sure.
that you wouldn't have of your own volition, and you obviously did it of your own volition anyway. But I've heard that so many times. I'm like that too. At the end of the day, I always call that. I don't love to talk about COVID at this point because I know everyone's tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, I think of it like the great catalyst. You know, it was a great catalyst. It helped a lot of musicians sit down and go, what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
What do I really want to do?
Yeah.
For me, it was telling my girlfriend that we're going to start a podcast about the NBC show ER. That's what we're going to... No, just kidding. We're not gonna, we've thought about it. We've thought about it. The reality is there's already one out there, so we're late to the party. Anyway, so I think that... I think the listeners want to hear some more music. I want to get into some of the like extracurricular activities you guys have going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because frankly, you know, musicians are often more than just musicians. We always have other things going on in our lives. I love hearing about that kind of stuff. But if you guys want to play us another song.
Sure. We're actually going to play you one off of our new album.
Yes. World premiere.
Yes. And
Yes!
right before we play this, I do want to say that we have just filmed a music video that we could talk about a little later.
Absolutely.
With a filmmaker that's affiliated with Weight Theory as well. So we'll talk a
Cool.
little bit about that after the song.
Loud Music Showcase, WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Mike Mass. I'm co-hosting today with Ken Apperson, one of the coolest guys with a beard that I ever met in my life.
You don't know many people with beards.
Hey, man, I know everybody, man. What you mean?
I think the guy in the room right now has got a cooler beard than me, that's for sure.
Jordan, Fantastical Tigers in the building. Let me tell you guys something. My name is Mike Mash. Just to reintroduce myself, I run the Wave Theory Collective, and we try to work with everybody who's amazing to make sure that they all have amazing opportunities. And Jordan just so happens to be, well, both of y'all happen to be some of the most interesting people that I've ever met from a hobbies and stuff behind the scenes standpoint. People need to be aware that you guys actually 3D print your own collectible toys and things of that nature. What else?
Right there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we connected on immediately was I'm a big nerd, a big comic book nerd. I'm a big music nerd. I'm a big film nerd also. And Jordan, tell us, and Lindsay, tell us about what you guys got going on as far as your extracurriculars, because I feel like it's some of the most interesting stuff I've ever heard.
Sure. I mean, it's very much in the nerd spectrum. So we play D&D together. We play video games together.
For those that might not know, what is D&D?
D&D is Dungeons and Dragons. It is a tabletop role-playing game where, us and our friends, we get together and we collectively tell a story in a fantasy realm. And it is just a recipe for laughter and fun times and, that nice sort of soothing escape from reality that I think that we all need on a regular basis.
It's awesome. And you make all the figurines and...
Yes. So part of my 3D printing hobby, not only for Fantastical Tigers, I also 3D print custom miniatures for my table so that, when they encounter a monster or when they create a character, they get to create their own custom miniature using a software that I have. And then I actually print it up and paint it for them and everything like that. So
Yeah. So before we get too far away from it, those are merch.
yes,
Those are for sale.
that's true.
These
That's
little
true.
3D
Yeah.
printed items.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we do-
You got to do the Vanna White.
there you
Yep,
go.
there you
Show
go.
it
Perfect.
off.
Exactly. Yep.
Tell them
Yes.
what they'll get, Bob.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we print a lot of like sort of cute tiger themed merchandise. We have these cute little tigers. We have some keychains. Heartbeat. I'm nervous.
Yes.
the keychains noise right there.
Yeah. So we print up all of this custom merchandise. I paint it up by hand. And people seem to like it. I mean, it's cool. It's like, it's unique, it's not something that a lot of bands I think are doing. So it's got that kind of wow factor to it. And it's super fun for me cause I'm a nerd. I just like to sit in front of the TV and watch my cartoons and paint miniatures.
Yeah, nowadays,
Like
man,
that's heaven for me.
for musicians in the music market, it's becoming more and more about collectibles. It's becoming more and more about the identity of your own personal sound and your own personal image and how you can represent that in a way that no one else is doing it. And I think Fantastical Tigers has done an amazing job of distinguishing themselves as a brand and as, a music entity that's not a derivative of something else, a duplicate or a copy of something else, because everything about their branding, the songwriting, the production comes directly from them. And even to the extreme point where in isolation, it came from them.
Yeah.
So, it makes it more personal, it makes it more unique, and it makes it more rare, which that's why I feel like the collectibles work for Fantastical Tigers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So that was a nice little wrap up. I love it. I want to hear some more music.
Sure.
That's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
We got a few more in the can there. I know that you guys are playing. You have a regular Tuesday night at the Floridian. Is that correct?
Yes. So that's a monthly show that we have.
Okay.
Tiger Tuesdays, last Tuesday of every month at the Floridian Social Club.
Cool.
And obviously we have our album release show coming up.
March 31st, right?
That's correct.
I say
March
that correct?
31st at the Attic.
Oh, cool. So it'll be like an
yes.
intimate. Like,
Very much so.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, and so we are going to have a custom curated cocktail menu by Sippin' Pretty Tampa. The event itself is going to be sponsored by Dark Door Spirits. So all of the cocktails will be created, using some of their very interesting and unique liquors that they distill there. Including their lavender infused vodka, purple lavender.
Nice.
Very nice work.
Yeah,
there.
that works out nice.
And symphonic distribution will also be a big part of that, obviously, as we're pairing with them for our release. They're going to be a big part of the event as well, with sponsorship. And we're super excited about it. It is it's it's going to be fantastical.
There it is. There it is. Yep. Nice little catchphrase tagline there. That's perfect. And let me just say real quick too, just in case, whether they're, it doesn't matter if they're listening or not, but I'm growing to like the people at Symphonic more and more.
Love them.
Their organization is getting huge.
Mm-hmm.
They just got their Series B funding, I think.
Right.
It's so impressive to see the grind that because they've been at it for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
Kind of under the radar. And then only in the past couple of years have they really been like, look at us, here we are. But the reality is the work has been obvious, considering how, what they're kind of reaping the benefits of now. And I'm sure the workload is just getting more and more so. But throughout all of that, my interactions with them, I haven't seen 1 ounce of ego.
Right.
In that, I haven't gotten one moment of I'm better than you. I'm better than this, even in rooms where they might be, like in terms of music professionalism and people just not knowing, the etiquette or knowing the way that those things work. So to see an organization work on their level and have the attitude that they have, I highly recommend any aspiring musician, if you've got an album getting ready to be released and you're looking at how you want to distribute it, maybe go talk to them.
I think you're spot on with that.
Maybe go give them maybe go have a conversation with them and see if it works for you, because that's it seems like they're genuinely interested in seeing the Tampa Bay music scene.
Right.
I mean, 100%. And fun fact, Sun Signs, we released our first record through Symphonic 10 years ago.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yes, exactly. So
Wow.
Yeah, we've been
see
in the
it-
Wesley Chapel office.
Yes.
It was like back in the day when they were just starting up. It was something amazing that they were doing, and we knew we wanted to be a part of it. And that first Sunshine album is absolutely amazing. If you can get on the internet, and
You
find
can.
it.
It's there.
Just type in
Symphonic did a good job.
Sunsigns Symphonic Distribution, and you will find it. I listened to it on YouTube. It's distributed through there. So
That's awesome. So I'd love to hear another song.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we got time for one?
Probably
two
two more. Probably two more,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So this next song is a single that we recently released. It's called Dust.
So obviously a lot of weird shit going on. Everything's all shut down. So just give me a call. Hopefully everything's good. And I guess we're just gonna hunker down now and get you some peace. So alright, love you. Hope you're doing well. Give me a call when you get a chance. Love you, bye.
You're listening to Live Music Showcase here on 88.5 WMNF, live in studio with Fantastical Tigers. Where can people find you guys?
Anywhere, all social media platforms, Fantastical Tigers.
Just got to search the name.
Literally.
I love it. I love it. So on this show, we have a whole team of people behind the scenes. Mark Perfetti, sound mixer Mark, on the ones and twos, making everything sound absolutely gorgeous. Bob Hoke, our video director. Marcy Connors on the camera. Brian Van Fleet is our board op today. Chandler Collada is our photographer. You can find all of our information on social media as well. You can find us on Instagram at live_music_showcase. You can search us on Facebook. We're live right now doing a live stream, WMNF's Live Music Showcase, and listen live anytime, anywhere on the website, WMNF.org. So in the last few minutes of this show, Mike, I do want to talk very briefly just about the fact that it's a difficult subject, frankly, and as a white person,
Right.
which is even weird to say out loud, frankly.
I know. Why is this?
Because
feel
I
so
don't
weird?
generally even talk about that fact.
Right.
But the reality is, you know, when we were diving into this whole thing, little peek behind the curtain, I really wanted to embrace Black History Month and figure out a way to do it, that wasn't like just like once a month and then forget about it every other time.
Right.
So I think that you and the people that you work with and that work with you are such a great example of success in the African American community. I'm not going to talk over you here. I mean, what do you think? Just tell me your thoughts, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tampa, because I'm originally from New York. You know, I'm
Right.
from the Bronx. I was born and raised, you know, Mount Vernon, the Bronx, and I spent some time in New Jersey. And there's something to be said about the positive effect of feeling like you have a purpose or feeling like you have a goal. You know what I mean? If you have nothing to focus on or to aspire to, then you become bored, and that boredom over time grows into feeling worthless. You know what I mean? And the feeling of worthlessness is what is the source of depression, or what is the source of erratic behavior. You know, because you don't value yourself, you don't care what happens anymore. And when you find a direction, a purpose, and when you find like-minded people who care about the same thing, it makes you move forward. And I feel like Wave Theory is an example of that. Healthy Phoenix is an example of that. Grow House with Dennis Amadeus and Curtis, who basically run the spoken word scene from the more family-friendly perspective. And then you have Novocaine, who's been running Smoking Words, you know, for a number of years at a number of locations, but it continues to be the place where not only someone who aspires to do music or who aspires to present their art to the world can do that, but a place where we, the coordinators, we put in years of work to prepare the audience to receive that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that, I think Tampa Bay as a city is very conducive to the success of the Black community because, well, I mean, we did put in the work, I would say.
Absolutely.
Myself, Prince Golden, H,
Yeah.
guys like that, in creating a multi-genre environment where, look, you guys don't have to be uncomfortable if you're a rock band being at a hip-hop show and vice versa. And I think the base layer of creating that, or us collaborating on that, really, the unity of that, you know.
I love it. I love it.
It's Tampa. It's what Tampa represents, and I think that's the unspoken really reason everybody's flocking to Tampa in the entire country. So
Yeah, man.
leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. Mike Mass, Wave Theory Radio, Monday nights, Tuesday mornings, 12 a.m. till 3 a.m.
Thank
Give it a listen, especially if you're a night owl like myself. You guys want to take us out with one last song?
Absolutely.
Go for it. This is WMNF Tampa.
because you locked me away many years ago in a cold storage container. Just collecting dust. A hidden memory, unresponsive.